As Sisters of St. Francis of Philadelphia, we're very dedicated to the gospel as St. Francis of Assisi was. And St. Francis of Assisi was very involved in peace and justice and in looking after the poor. He did many things like giving up his own cloak. He embraced the poor, such as the leper. So we try to follow in that vein, and we are very active, therefore, in peace and justice. We are also very concerned about the government and their laws and the legislature, and so we advocate for peace and justice with them, because just as Jesus challenged the structures of his time and the government of his time, we too strive to challenge our government to be more Christ-like, to be open and give the love of Christ to all that they meet. That immigration stance was very important to us. It was the time when we were looking as a country to keep people out. And so through that corporate stand, we strove to let people know that we were open and supported the undocumented immigrants coming to our country, and thought that we needed to give them peace, haven, and the tools they needed to adjust to the country's life here. Through St. Lawrence Parish in Upper Darby, I work with the Hispanic ministry. And these are very sincere people who are hardworking. They come to the United States for an education for themselves, but mostly for their children. They want a better life for their children. So we strive to help these immigrants who are coming now to learn the English language. We have English classes for them. We help them to navigate the system. We teach them how to get the help that they need and how to register their children in school. We also make them aware of their rights as immigrants and of the justice that they are entitled to by their person and their dignity. One of the things that's going on, as you may well know, is that our government has this idea that they need to shut out all immigrants. And so there's this danger that some who have been here will be deported, and we've known that they have been kept in family detention centers, and we're striving to close those family detention centers. In addition to that, we have the whole issue with the Syrian refugees, and as the Syrian refugees are striving to find a new life for themselves outside of Syria, much to their dismay, we try to welcome them here in the United States. So we encourage those Syrian refugees, and we're striving to find a way that we can help them even more. In addition to that, we have this whole anti-Muslim sentiment that's going on of not allowing Muslims to come into the United States. So as Sisters of St. Francis, this is very important to our heart, very dear to us. For about 4 years, we have been meeting with the Zubaydah Foundation, which is a group of Muslim people from Yardley. And together we have grown in friendship and in sharing. We share around ways in which we're very much alike, such as pilgrimages. We also share around the whole idea of helping others in our ministries. They're very active and interested in the poor. As you know, they're very prayerful persons. So we strive to find that common ground for us. And in seeking that common ground, we've become quite friends. So therefore, we are working to advance the Muslim groups in this nation so that they're not experiencing such hatred and such violence. We write letters to our legislators. We write letters to our governor. We do whatever we can to ensure that their life and dignity as persons is respected. We are very much against the death penalty, in line with what our bishops of the United States have encouraged us to be and to do. So we act toward that end by joining national organizations. And as a member of those organizations, we receive lists of those who are going to be executed on certain dates. And so we remember those persons who are the oppressors, as well as their victims, in our daily Mass and the intentions. So they receive a special prayer. Now, our Sisters in Assisi House also, and other retirement homes of ours, pray for these prisoners, but they also write letters to many of those who are on death row. We are very much against war. Our gospel, as well as Francis, has said, as they announce peace with their lips, may they even more have it within their hearts. So we work toward ending all types of war. We worked with the war in Iraq, and we had that corporate statement, but we also then were against the war in Afghanistan, and we strive to find peaceful means to end wars rather than to actually go in and fight, and to somehow alleviate the horrors of war in whatever way we can. As Sisters of St. Francis, we're very much against people being used against their will for various illicit activities, or even licit activities, but they're used against their will. They're forced into this. So we have joined with other religious congregations to form what we call Dawn's Place. Dawn's Place is a refuge for trafficking victims, so that they can come there, recoup their energies, be safe from their perpetrators, and begin a new life. In addition to that, we have many sisters who work in these areas locally with various local committees. Besides that, we hold a workshop each year out of our congregation for the people in the area so that they might educate themselves and become aware of trafficking and that the fact that it might exist right where they live. As Sisters of St. Francis, we belong to the National Religious Congregations Against Torture. And in joining them, we were working to end all types of torture, particularly the torture that we had become aware of due to the Guantanamo Bay institution, and also because of our own prison system, which encourages, well, hopefully it doesn't anymore, but which put into solitary confinement and isolated prisoners, so that as a congregation we work to end that, because that is a very inhumane form of torture that sometimes we in the United States don't even recognize. We work to end gun violence as much as we can. We encourage background checks. We've had a number of rallies. Some of us have participated in local rallies in our various West Coast, East Coast areas. And in doing that, we try to take a stand to show that we need to work for peace. We need to work for a way to resolve this issue that continues to take many lives. We do have a mission statement, and it's that mission statement that gives us this impetus for peace and justice and encourages us to work toward alleviating whatever indignities, whatever injustices we find, whether that's through legislative work, through one-on-one work. Very important for us to continue to do that and to be a voice for those who are voiceless, and to really speak for creation as well, which only voice is ours. So we continue to work with climate change. We continue to work on the environment. As a congregation, we have endorsed various types of energy and alternative forms of energy. And we have our own Red Hill farm here. So with all of that, we think that we continue to strive to work toward a better earth and a better world and a peaceful world.